Yo, what's good, everybody? How you doing today? You doing good? That's good. So in case y'all didn't know, I'm a journalist in my local area, and I've had the opportunity throughout my very, very short career of going backstage to certain wrestling shows that come to the area. I'll go and cover them sometimes, and interviewing a lot of wrestlers actually, and they're always really fun. I think I've been to like 3 shows. Usually work with the same promotion each time, and I've gotten the chance to interview some big names, names like Adam Cole, Ricky Steamboat, Ron Simmons, even James Ellsworth. I've met him, really nice guy. So I wanted to just tell you guys about it. And I also have a clip of one of my interviews, like not even an interview, the whole story that I did for one of the shows one time. So I'm going to include that at the very end of this video as well, so you guys can check that out. That will include my Adam Cole and James Ellsworth interviews. But before we do that, I'm going to go over the interviews that I did before that, covering that event. The very first show that I ever covered was when I was in 10th grade. It was for my broadcasting class, and I went there, and I'm going to show you guys some of the. I don't have any of the actual footage, unfortunately, but I do have pictures that I screenshotted. But yeah, please, my hair was not good during that time, so please don't roast me. I understand. I looked bad. I looked really bad. But some of those guys you might recognize. I believe one of them was Joe Keys. There he is on the screen right there. He's wrestled for AEW Dark, Ring of Honor. Those are probably the top 2 promotions he's ever been in. I also interviewed Dante Caballero. He wrestled in Ring of Honor. I don't believe he's wrestled on AEW at all yet. Really nice guy, though. Those 2 guys are amazing. They were great to talk to. I really appreciated them allowing me to sit down and talk with them. I've also interviewed guys like Miles Hawkins. He's also been on AEW Dark. I don't believe he's been on Ring of Honor, but he is a very constant AEW Dark wrestler, especially when they come to the DC, DMV area. Miami Mike, he's on AEW Dark sometimes. So a lot of those guys are still up-and-comers. Those 4 guys are amazing. I really do believe that one day we will see more of them on top promotions like Ring of Honor and AEW, maybe even WWE one day. But those guys were amazing. It's nice to talk to legends and current superstars of the industry, of course, but it's really cool to sit down with someone who's up and coming and getting their point of view and perspective on certain topics and stuff. Now, I didn't go in depth. I want to clarify, with these interviews, I didn't go in depth talking about their careers and their aspirations and stuff. Most of the time when I went to these events, it was about like, what is pro wrestling, because I wasn't making content for people that are really into pro wrestling, of course, maybe even know who these guys are and know every little thing about the industry. This was for the not even casual crowd. It was for, your general public, people that might even hate pro wrestling and despise it. This was to show them what pro wrestling is, why these, wrestlers do what they do, and how hard it actually is to be a part of the industry sometimes, and how talented you really do need to be and how much work they put in. So definitely hearing from these guys that are literally working probably like 2 jobs, this being one of them, and then a full-time job, and this basically being their weekend type of career. It's very interesting to hear their aspect and point of view on those topics. So that, I just wanted to clarify that these weren't like podcast interviews or anything like that. But now let's get into some of the bigger names that I've interviewed. I guess I'll start with James Ellsworth. I met him at the show that I met Miles, Mike, and Adam Cole at, and Action Andretti. Really cool dude. It's interesting to talk to him because he's been in WWE and stuff, and he's not there currently, but he's back on the independent scene. He's still grinding. He's still working. A really amazing guy. He's from the same state that I'm in, which is Maryland. He's really cool to talk to. He was a really nice guy. So let's move on ahead to Ron Simmons. This one's more of an interesting Very interesting story. So Ron Simmons was the first big star that I ever interviewed. Ron Simmons, I just want to clarify, he's a really cool dude. He's super nice. The fact that he allowed me to even interview him when I was a 10th grader, like, dude, awesome. He was very intimidating. I remember it to this day. We're two 10th graders. My friend, he was the cameraman for the interviews. And, we go backstage. They said, okay, Ron's going to be here any second. I'm already nervous as it is because I'm about to interview Ron Simmons. And, like, this is the first big big star that I've ever interviewed before. So I was already really nervous. And then he comes in, he's a big dude, deep voice, Ron Simmons. And he's like, do you guys have IDs? And I'm like, IDs? We're 10th graders. I don't know if he knew that or not, but I'm just like, I don't even know what to show him. I don't have a press pass or anything. I did, though, have my school ID, like the library card and stuff, so I showed him that. My friend did the same thing. Luckily, we both had the same card, so we had to show IDs because he wanted to just make sure. I don't know what he was doing it for. I mean, I don't know. That was the only time I've ever had to show, like, photo identification to any of the wrestlers, but I mean, hey, his prerogative that, but then the interview started and it was a good interview. I'm still sitting there really nervous. I learned a lot just from that one interview. It was really great to talk with him. I remember the big thing that we talked about was I mentioned he was the first ever black world heavyweight champion in pro wrestling on any big stage. He won the WCW world title, and it was really interesting to hear his point of view on that. Hearing how the story went down and how, the crowd reacted and how he felt during that moment. It was so cool to hear that from him. That was definitely one of the highlights of my career, honestly. All these interviews are definitely hearing that, was really cool. So we're going to move on to the Ricky Steamboat. I'm going to say it right now. This is my favorite interview ever. Like, Adam Cole, Ron Simmons, James Ellsworth, all of them are great guys. But Ricky Steamboat, man, he is such a cool dude. I didn't get a chance to get a picture with him or an autograph. I forgot to, ask him. But so before the show started, we found a little area backstage. We sat down, and before I even set up my camera or anything, I think my brother was there during that one. We just talked about wrestling. I was literally just talking for like 10 minutes about wrestling, and AEW was starting up at this time. I think this interview was in like 2019, something like that. So AEW is pretty brand new, and I was hearing his thoughts on AEW, and we talked about Cody Rhodes and Jericho and AEW and how they were working so well with the company, and it was so fascinating, and it was just like, I was dumbfounded, bro. I was like, I'm just sitting here talking about wrestling and AEW and all this stuff with Ricky Steamboat, like, it was just so cool. But then the actual interview started, and like 15 minutes later, he was such a talkative dude. He's so awesome. And I remember one of the first questions I asked him was, why do you like pro wrestling? It was one of the most basic questions I could have asked. And he was like, I've been in this business for like 30 years, and that's the first time anyone's ever asked me that question. He didn't even really know how to answer it.
And you're the first guy to ever ask me that question.
Really?
Really?
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, did not know how to answer the question, why do you like pro wrestling? So that taught me in that moment that when interviewing people, sometimes the basic questions, the most obvious questions to ask someone, like if you're asking an engineer, why do you like engineering? You probably wouldn't think to ask them that, especially if they're a big star. You want to ask them some of the more recent, hot topic questions. But ever since I asked Ricky Steamboat, why do you like pro wrestling? I tend to ask easier, basic questions to people, and sometimes I get great answers from them. One of the best wrestlers, one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life. Really cool guy. Next, I interviewed Adam Cole. This was back in February of last year, actually. This was my first story, not in high school. This is when I was working for my actual news company that I work with now. Luckily, I went to the right show because this was during the convention that they had. A lot of wrestlers were there, like Boogeyman, Scott Steiner. Lita was there, Thunder Rosa was there, and then of course Adam Cole was there. I think Lex Luger was there too. There was a lot of people there, and so the whole show, I was standing backstage with my friend who was the same camera person when I interviewed Ron Simmons, and my girlfriend actually, she was there too. The whole time we were standing backstage and we were, interviewing a bunch of these wrestlers, but the main wrestler we wanted to get was Adam Cole, obviously, and he wasn't there. He hasn't showed up yet, basically. And it's almost showtime. We thought this, like, once showtime hits, that's it. That's done. We can't interview anyone else, obviously, because the show's going on. But there was still the convention portion, so maybe we could catch him in between. So Adam Cole arrives. He comes through the backstage. He walks past us. I'm like, what the hell is happening? I saw, Lita, Thunder Rosa, and Adam Cole interacting with each other. It was so cool. Anyway, Adam Cole makes his way out to his table. Because he's going to start, doing meet and greets and stuff. And the guy that I was working with, he's one of the managers for the promotion. His name was Phil. Phil, dude, you're amazing. I really appreciate it. All the help that you've given me throughout the years. So I go up to Phil and I'm like, is there any way I can, pull Adam Cole back here or to the side and interview him? And he's working the whole night trying to get me an interview with Adam Cole. And I'm just stressing because I'm like, I really want this interview. Like, this was going to be huge if I got this. So Phil comes backstage and he's like, dude, Adam Cole, he's taking a rest right now. Like, if you want to go interview him, go to him now. And so I rush out there. And, like, I'm already kind of nervous because I'm like, I'm about to, like, not only meet Adam Cole, but talk to him and ask him for an interview and stuff. So, like, I'm, like, off the walls nervous, bro. Not even joking. So I go up to him, and I'm like, dude, big fan. Like, I freaking love your work. Shake his hand and everything. I'm going crazy. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm a, reporter for a news company. Is it okay if I get an interview with you at some point? And he's like, yeah, I'm actually about to go on my lunch or break or something like that. And we can do it then. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, oh, come on. Okay, I got an interview with Adam Cole, dude. Crazy. So I go backstage, tell my girlfriend and my friend, and I'm like, dude, I got an interview with Adam Cole. So I wait and I wait and I wait. He doesn't come backstage. He doesn't come backstage, bro. I told him I was gonna be backstage too. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So the next thing you know, Phil comes back up to me and he's like, look, he's about to start signing autographs. If you can catch him before he starts signing autographs, like, do it now. So I go back out there and I go up to the table and I'm like, well, first I get stopped by AEW's like communications guy, one of them at least. And I'm like, hey, can we get an interview, like a really short interview with Adam Cole real quick? And he's like, maybe after the signings. And I knew that wasn't going to happen because I've been to these shows before. And once the signings are over, the show starts. And, I was like, I can't do that. And I was like, I promise it'll be like, I was really adamant. I was like, dude, I'm getting this interview. And I was like, no, it's okay. Like, Phil said we can do it right now. And, like, I only have, like, a couple questions. And then he looks at me. And he was like, he gave me a defeated look, basically. And he was like, how many questions you got? And I was like, 4. And I was like, I'll do them really quickly. And he was like, all right, well, hurry up. So I set up my camera equipment, everything. I mic up Adam Cole with one of the little short mics. And next thing you know, I'm interviewing Adam Cole, man. Adam, like, was so cool. He was so receptive and everything. And, he was trying his best to, get me some time to interview him. So I really appreciate Adam Cole. He's a really nice dude. I got his autograph up there. You guys can't see it. But I did get to meet him and get an autograph and a picture with him and everything. And he's a really cool dude. And also one of my favorite wrestlers. So that was definitely the highlight of my career so far, interviewing Adam Cole. So without further ado, now that I've told you, the story portion of this, I am going to show you Oh, let me show you the story that I put together last year for the wrestling show, and this includes Adam Cole and James Ellsworth. So here you guys go. This past Saturday, the Hollywood Volunteer Fire Department was home to many body slams, as the very first Hollywood Celeb Fest hosted by Maryland Championship Wrestling took place. Pro wrestling fans had the opportunity to meet some of their favorite wrestling stars and legends. This convention hosted many big names like WWE Hall of Famer Lita and All Elite Wrestling's Adam Cole.
So I went and traveled the globe and wrestled all across the United States as an independent wrestler for a really long time. And to me, this is where the heart of pro wrestling really is. You get to meet some of the most diehard fans in the entire world. You see a lot of young guys who are kind of cutting their teeth and learning how to be involved in the pro wrestling business. So to me, this is pro wrestling in its purest art form. I love getting to do this. Maryland Championship Wrestling was responsible for almost breaking me in a lot of ways to the wrestling industry. Between MCW and Combat Zone Wrestling, I had my very first matches in places like this. So this always, it feels like I'm coming back home in a lot of ways, so I'm very happy to be back.
Well, these events, you meet the real wrestling fans, the fans that care so much. They come out, they support us, they get our autographs, they have their little WWE encyclopedias they have to get signed, their action figures, their toys, and those are the real wrestling fans that help support us through thick and thin. They never go away, so I like meeting them. That's my favorite part of this for sure.
So this will actually be my second show in Southern Maryland. So I've only done it once before, haven't quite done it yet, but the crowd here is amazing. Every time you come through the curtain, they're always giving you energy, always electric. So anything like that, anytime we can come down here, I love it. I personally enjoy it, and I like it more because they cheer me.
To be honest, I think my favorite part about attending events like this would probably be seeing all the guys in the locker room that I haven't seen in a while. You know, sometimes I only see these guys once a month. Most guys I see every Tuesday and Thursday training at MCW, so I kind of like working together with them, setting up the ring, setting up the show, and then, you know, because there's just a lot that goes into it that the fans don't see behind the scenes, and I really like, you know, talking to everybody in the locker room and just having a good time. I really like this area for wrestling. I don't know what it is, but everywhere I go, the crowds are a little different, and for Hollywood, I would say that they're loud. Like, more than anything, they have energy and they love wrestling. I'll go to some other places and it'll be kind of like, it's like pulling teeth trying to get them to react or get them excited. But these people, like, you can just go out there and do a few simple things and have fun and have energy, and they feed off of it every time. So I love working in Southern Maryland. I think there should be more shows down here, honestly. I wish we could run here 4 to 5 times a year in Hollywood. But yeah, I definitely love working here.
So I hope you guys really like that. That was probably my best work that I've ever done, journalism-wise. Obviously, because I love pro wrestling. I just had an amazing time filming, editing, all that stuff. It was great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this is a little longer of a video, but this is definitely, you know, some cool things that I've done in my life, and, you know, I just wanted to share it with you guys. So if you guys enjoyed it, please go on ahead and hit the like button. And if you want more content like this, go on ahead and subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. And then comment down below what type of stuff you guys want to see me make. You know, if you guys want some more story times, I have a story that I think you guys would really love. It's about the time that I actually put on a pro wrestling match during my school's pep rally. I'm not even joking. It's one of the best stories I have. So if you guys, and I have the full match on tape, not even joking. So if you guys want to see it, let me know down in the comments below. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.